What up, Dokkanners? It would not be your average global Dokkan day without something confusing going on and making things chaotic for people. So, in today's video, we're going to be discussing the chaos that has ensued from this global data download, and I'm going to explain to you why this is happening and what this could possibly mean for the future of the 7-year anniversary. So, before we jump in, though, I want to start off with today's subscriber challenge. Should you choose to accept it, people, this is going to be a fun one. This is going to be an audio challenge. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to pause the music and I'm going to play for you a very brief 5 to 6 second game audio. And your goal is to figure out what game this is from based on the 5 to 6 second clip that you hear. All right, so here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right. So if you can figure out what game that is from, then you got to subscribe to the channel right now because you have very good taste in games, my friend. It's a bit of a throwback, but let's see if you can figure it out. But if you can't figure it out or you simply don't want to, that is totally fine. I will earn your subscription in the next one. Now, let's jump in and take a look at the data download information here. Shout out to my boy Proton at Proton10MG. Follow him on Twitter. Okay, thank you. So here we've got the part 3 data download information. We've got the end movie. So this is our first red flag. So for the 7-year part 3, we've already been given the movie to end the celebration. One key difference here is that for the JP version versus the global version, the end screen, it's very loud. It ends with the 7-year graphic fading to black and then the 7-year, the Goku Jr., the Vegeta Jr. emerging at the end. For global, that obviously doesn't happen because we already did those. But the thing is, why are we getting this now? Why are we getting this movie now? Are we ending the celebration? I thought we had 4 parts. Because on the JP side of the game, we had part 1, 2, 3, and the EX part. Now, what's going on here is that the EX part is essentially an extension of part 3. Because there's just so much content, they wanted to try to give this is just my opinion. I feel like it's pretty safe to say they wanted to give the illusion of an overabundance of content on Dokkan and be like, oh no, there's so much stuff. I don't know what to do with all this content. Let's just make another section and give players more time to play, right? So maybe that's what it was. Whether it's not, it doesn't matter. But the point is they got extra time to consume all of that new content. That also included the Super Saiyan 4 EZAs, Goku Jr., Vegeta Jr., the boosted stuff, and not listed here, but the 1000 EZA challenge. That started during the EX part, but it then continued, and it's been permanent ever since. It's not listed here. That's just a Dokkan Wiki error, but trust me, it's there. Now, the thing about this is, I don't know, I'm not a JP player, but what this did was it created a bit of an overflow, a bit of an overlap between the residual lasting effects of the 7-year and the start of the new campaign. So the 7-year anniversary was supposed to end earlier on the 3rd of March, but instead it ended on the 7th of March. This extension period lasted a week, and that 7th of March is obviously 5 days into the Ginyu Dokkan Festival celebration. Now, JP players, you could probably let me know, did this possibly create some confusion? Maybe it did, because you've got 2 active celebrations going on at the same time. Maybe that created some chaos, some unnecessary, confusion here and there. Maybe it even hurt the Ginyu Forces Dokkan Fest banners on bottom line. Maybe it hurt the revenue for this banner. Maybe not because of the fact that it's Ginyu, but because of the fact that the 7-year was still active. So I think because of that, might have created some issues. But that being said, why does this matter to global? Let's scroll all the way down here. We're going past all of the assets. We're just going to jump straight into it. And then we're looking at the missions. So the missions is basically where the confusion ensues. I'm going to put it up on the bigger screen here. So what we're looking at here, this is the list of the missions for part 3 and the EX part. Now, it's not listing everything, I don't believe. No, it's definitely not. But you've got the part 3 up here. We got the EX part down here. Now, here's the confusing part, folks. Both start at the same time. Both end at the same time. But that's not right, because for part 3, for JP, it started on one date, and then for the EX part, it started on a different date. So what gives? Why is this happening? Well, this goes back to what I was just talking about with that whole overflow overlap scenario that happened on JP. So what I think is going on here, folks, if I'm to put on my conspiracy hat a little bit, why is this happening on global? Why is global getting part 3 and the EX part at the same time? I think it's because they want to avoid this exact situation from happening. They don't want there to be an overflow and an overlap because maybe possibly based on how poorly the Ginyu banner did, maybe they don't want to have the 7-year overshadow that celebration. Or maybe they already know that global players don't care about the incoming Raditz Dokkan Festival celebration, of course, obviously besides the memes. Most people are being advised to skip. So they know that their revenue is about to take a massive dive once the 7-year anniversary ends. The last thing they want to do is create a scenario where they make that even more amplified. If you've got the 7-year still up and running, while the Raditz Dokkan Festival celebration is out, nobody's going to pay attention to the Raditz Dokkan Festival celebration. I imagine that's their rationalizing of that situation, and that could potentially be why they are consolidating everything into one lump sum. Now, this is really unfortunate because this creates a situation where players have to finish everything in 1 week. Now, for the typical hardcore Dokkaner, or for maybe like over half of you who watch my videos, most of you who watch my videos, you're probably watching them because you are a pretty devoted Dokkan player. So this is probably not going to be a problem for you. But for those people who are casual, new to the game, trying to do a whole bunch of stuff at once, this might be a very overwhelming situation. So I'm actually not too thrilled about the fact that we only have a week to do all this, because all of this includes the free-to-play combo EZAs, get them all to their 7-step awakenings, 100% of their hidden potential, all of the awakenings for the LR EZAs, do all of these different stages. We're not even listing the rest of the Part EX section. We don't even have the Super Saiyan 4s in here. We don't have the 1000 EZA listed in there. So there's just a lot of stuff still missing. So what I think is going on is this is part 1 of a 2-part data dump, where they're going to be giving us the rest of the 7-year anniversary, and apparently they're expecting us to finish this in 1 week. I'm really hoping that this is just a predetermined thing that's going to be modified in the future, where they do actually extend it, and they're simply just giving this to us now. I mean, this is part of the problem with data downloads and data mining. When you do this, sometimes you might be getting some of the raw information, or some of the information in its most purest raw form, when it's not quite refined yet. So, I mean, I don't know. Those are just some ideas to try to explain and contextualize the situation, but there you have it. We might be possibly getting both EX and Part 3 in one. That could be ending in a week, or maybe we don't. We're going to have to wait for a couple of days to find out. And also, one more thing I would like to say, that this is actually going to be starting on the 1st of August for most of you on the Europe side, and onwards on the eastern side of the globe. For those of you on the Western Hemisphere, like myself, it's going to be starting on the 31st of July. Shout out to one of my tunes, actually. I apologize. I don't remember who you were, but you mentioned this in one of my comments, and I remember reading it, and I was going to reply, but then I simply forgot. It's already been set that this was going to be starting on the 31st of July because of the SNS campaign. And so I originally made the video saying that it was going to start on the 30th. That is actually not correct. It's going to be starting on the 31st based on this very fact right here, the social media campaign, the SNS thing, where you would go to Twitter and share some Dokkan stuff. And of course, this new data mined information that we see here with all of these Part 3 missions. So there you have it, folks. That is the explanation as far as what is going on, why it is. Hopefully that clears up your confusion. I know some of you will still probably ask me, so hopefully other Dokkanners can help you guys out in the comments down below. But what do you think? Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below and let me know in the comments, what do you think about the situation? Do you think that 1 week is enough for every Dokkanner to finish all of this stuff all at once, basically 2 parts in one? Or do you think that this is a little bit too overwhelming? And do you think that this is possibly just phase 1 of a 2-phase data dump where things will be ultimately cleared up and we will still end up getting a 2-week cycle for the remaining 2 parts of the 7-year? I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more Dokkan content of the future and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know you want to see more of my stuff. Do it! Thanks again, stay tuned, and always remember to Dokkan responsibly.